So today we are going to be talking about graphing polar coordinates. What did we learn earlier this week about polar coordinates? What are the polar coordinates? R theta. So R is R, which is the radius is the distance from the pole. Anybody want to guess what the pole is? The origin, the center, to a fixed point. So this right here, I just wrote point, pole. That is the pole. And then we have theta. What is theta? An angle. So theta is the angle formed by the polar axis. Write this down, please. And your polar axis is what used to be our x-axis, or at least the positive side of the x-axis. So your polar axis is right there at 0. And a ray from the pole to a fixed point. So to plot a point on your polar graph, you are going to first have to determine the radius. Each circle is considered a unit, a radius away from the pole. So starting at the pole, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does that make sense? Be careful as you start looking at these circles, especially if I have a smaller one, it can get a little bit confusing. So maybe double check as you're counting. And then the point you're going to plot, that's how many radii you are going to go towards your degrees. So if I asked you to plot 3, 90 degrees, starting at the pole, you are going to go 3 radii towards 90 degrees. 1, 2, 3. This is 390 degrees. Any questions about that? What if I asked you to plot 2, 330? Start at the pole, go 2 radii towards 330. Does this make sense? Now, each coordinate has infinitely many possible, or each point has infinitely many possible coordinates, right? So, I could have a negative radius, and we've never had a negative radius. But if your radius is negative, you go away from that degree. So for instance, this point 390 could also be called negative 3, 270. Why? I go Backwards 3 from 270. I go away from 270. 3 radii. Does that make sense? Can you please plot -5, 45? I want you to plot -5, 45. Here is 45 degrees. Since it's negative, you're going away or across. 2, 3, 4, 5. Where do you end up at? 225. So you could call this point -5, 45, or you could call it 5, 225. Does that make sense? Can I move on? Alright, so we're going to plot some points. I mentioned it just a second ago, but these points have infinitely many coordinate names or ways to write them. We're going to focus on 4 different ways. So the first way is just your normal way. R is positive and theta is on our unit circle. So for point A, I would like, oh, by the way, sometimes we're going to be in degrees. Most of the time, I'm going to give you things in radians. All right? So my first point I want you to plot is 4 pi over 4. Can you plot 4 pi over 4 and label it A? Look up. Did you plot A right there? Now, if I want my R to be negative, what is another way I could write this coordinate? -4, and what goes the opposite direction? 5 pi over 4. That's this same point right here. I'm not plotting another point because it's the same point. So this is when your R is less than 0. Is this coordinate right here just pi over 4? Could it be anything else? Could I go around the circle again? Yeah, and if I go around the circle again, what is that theta? What do I do to find it? I'm going to add 2 pi to this. What is pi over 4 plus 2 pi? Louder? Not this one, this one. 9 pi over 4. Do you agree 2 pi is equivalent to 8 pi over 4? And then pi over 4 plus 8 pi over 4 is 9 pi over 4. Does everybody see how I got 9 pi over 4? Add 2 pi, which would be 8 pi over 4. You don't have to write that down. It's just if you're a little confused. I could go again around, add another 2 pi. We're not going to do that. But what if I wanted to go backwards? Subtract 2 pi. How would I subtract 2 pi? Pi over 4 minus 8 pi over 4 is -7 pi over 4. And so these are the different ways that you can name your coordinate. Can y'all look up real quick? I'm going to give you this paper in a little bit. This is your homework. But on your homework, the first part is plotting like we just did. Hey, plot it on a graph. The second part is what we're doing now. Can you take a point, and do you see right here how it says your r is greater than 0, r is positive, and then your theta is going to be negative. You would subtract 2 pi here. The second section, r is negative, your theta is positive. That's what we did the first time right here. And then the third section, your r is positive. So you're going to have to satisfy these conditions, and that's what we're doing right now. All right, so next, let's do another one. Let's plot 3 pi. Can everybody plot 3 pi and label it B? Okay, if I wanted a negative r, go the opposite direction. Where am I going to end up at? Oh, here, 1, 2, 3. Is this where you plotted point B? Okay. What would be my coordinate with a negative r? Huh? Negative 3, 0. Or what else could you write? Negative 3, 360 or 2 pi. Correct. Now I want you to be careful, because on this right here where r is 0, what does it say about theta? It is equal to 0 but less than 2 pi. So for this one right here, you could not write 2 pi just because it gives you a condition, an interval. But on this one, if you wrote 2 pi, you're right. All right, now let's go back to our original. What if I want to add 2 pi? Go around the circle again. What's my coordinate going to be? 3 pi. Add 2 pi to pi, you get 3 pi. And what if I subtract? 3 negative pi. Do I have any questions? All right, I want you to do C on your own. Go. All right, look up. Did you plot point C right here at 240? And did you go 4? Oh, it's 2. What am I doing? I think I'm ready for bed. That's what I'm doing. Y'all were all like, yeah. Tell me something. All right, if I'm negative R, what do I get? Am I wrong? I'm right? Okay. Okay, you can't see? Oh, okay. Well, these circles, after you look at them for a long time, you're like, step away from them. Negative R, what do you get? Negative 2 pi over 3. If I add 2 pi to this, I'm going to get 10 pi over 3. Because this time I'm adding 6 pi over 3 to 4 pi over 3. Because remember, you're adding 2 pi, which is 6 pi over 3. And then last but not least, subtract 2 pi. And I get, 2 negative 2 pi over 3. Do y'all agree? Last one we're going to do. What if I gave you 5, 315? Plot it. What about with a negative r? Negative 5, 135. If you're given the theta in degrees, you can write your answer in degrees. Yep. If you're giving it in radians, I want you to write your answer in radians. All right, what about next? What are you going to do next? Or you're going to add 360, same thing, which will give you, louder? 675. 600. And then if you subtract 360, what do you get? All right. On Monday, we'll talk about converting equations and stuff like that. What I'm going to do right now, hold on, y'all, listen. I'm going to hand you a blue sheet. This blue sheet is your worksheet 1. You can only do right now up to number 10, but the whole thing is going to be due on Wednesday. So if you want to get ahead, hold on, look. On the back is worksheet 2. We're doing this next week. Please do not lose this blue sheet. On top of the blue sheet, because it is all polar, I am going to be giving you an answer sheet for worksheet 1. The odds are on one side, the evens are on another. Alright, y'all have about 8 minutes. You could get started and do the evens 1 through 10 because they're due on Wednesday.